This young man had to learn his lesson the hard way. Y'all check out this story.
The dating scene really messed up, and it's just because people just keep taking advantage of good people. So I used to date this girl. And I ain't gonna lie, I'm embarrassed to tell this story, but whatever happened, happened. So me and this girl, we knew each other since high school. We started talking in our early high school years. She was a freshman, I was a sophomore. Things didn't work out. That's a story for another time. Time went by, we seen different people. I went to college. She had a baby her senior year. And then, yeah, but things didn't work out with the people we were seeing, so we started talking again. In the beginning, when we first had got back talking, she had like a little habit of going ghost and then coming back, you feel me? But me, I got music, I got a job, I got things I need to focus on. I'm not about to chase you because I know how that's gonna affect my mental. So I told myself this one time when she ghosted me again, I said I'm not gonna pick up the phone next time she called me. But for some reason, the next time she called me, I picked the phone up. But then she gave me like a little sob story. And this phone call, she actually decided to tie the knot. But she was basically saying that her baby was affecting her mental, having a baby, being a mother and stuff like that. But around this time, my sister had a baby too. So seeing how that was affecting my sister, I understood where the girl was coming from, you feel me? But it was things that she would do in the beginning that just kind of made me want to pull back that anybody else would have want to pull back too. Like she didn't like talking on the phone because she felt like the baby would be annoying while we on the phone. She didn't like texting like that. She didn't want me to come over. She didn't want to come over because she felt like the baby would be embarrassing, or she thought my peoples would look at her some type of way being that she got a baby. And I'm not gonna lie, it was times where I would text her like late at night because I'm in my head telling her like, I think we shouldn't do this, let me pull back. But then she would come with the same sob story, and being the naive nigga that I was, I would let it slide.
It ain't just you, my man. A lot of us men, when we were younger, we did the exact same thing. You gotta trust your instincts.
Now around this time, she didn't have a job, and her and the baby dad weren't on good terms, and she was claiming that the baby dad won't do it. But every time I would see the nigga like randomly pop up on my page, he ain't look like a deadbeat to me. At least to me. But I'm sending this girl food. I'm helping the baby get food. I'm helping her get diapers and like that. I'm just doing all this for her, you feel me? Now around this time, she still ain't had a job, but a few months prior, she had gotten into Amazon, but they fired her ass because her and her baby dad got into something. They got arrested. It was a felony charge. She beat the case, but the Amazon fired her ass.
There is no bigger sign to walk away from a girl than her getting a charge or a case from messing with her baby father.
So I'm still helping this girl out, helping her get food, this and that, but at most I'm only sending $20 at a time because in the back of my mind, you still not really letting me see you, so I'm not about to send you like a bunch, you feel me? But $20 started to add up, especially if she asked it multiple times throughout the week, you feel me? Things started going like a little smooth. She's still not really letting me see her, but I'm seeing her like here and there. I wasn't satisfied, but I was like, okay, we progressing a little bit. But it's like every time I would see her, it's like I'm bringing her something wicked, like a gift, a wig that she asked me for, you feel me? My phone had died in the car. But anyways, my mom and my sister started peeping it. And they was like, I hope you're not buying this girl gifts or sending her money just to see her and stuff. I was like, nah, it's nothing like that.
It's always funny to me how so many mothers and sisters don't want to see their brother or their son getting played, but they have no problem encouraging other women to do it.
And things start to get weird again because now every time we make plans to see each other, something always seems to come up to where we can't see each other. My 21st birthday comes up. My mom even tells me if your girl does not show up to your 21st birthday, that is not your girl. I didn't listen. I let it go in one ear throughout the other. My 21st birthday finally comes. At 12 a.m. she texts me happy birthday, but she unsent a message prior, and then she told me that she has to talk to me about something later that day. Later in the morning, I text her, I'm like, what's up? She said her uncle had overdosed in the bathroom and had died.
This is bullshit.
And for a few seconds, I was staying in my head, she is lying, but then the nice side of me came out again. Is like, why would somebody lie about something like that? You feel me?
I used to be the same way when I was younger. It didn't make sense to me. Why would somebody lie about something like that? But as you get older, you're going to start realizing people will lie about anything.
The next day I was having a hotel party that she was saying like the whole time she was coming to, and I didn't want to just assume that she didn't want to come no more. So I texted her, I was like, were you still trying to come to the hotel? She didn't respond for the whole day. The next day she hit me back saying she found it inconsiderate asking her to come to the hotel knowing what happened. So I apologized. I said I just didn't want to assume that you didn't want to go no more. Now fast forward to the point of the story. It was her cousin's birthday, and prior to her cousin's birthday, she had told me that she needed a wig for her cousin's party. Noted, her mom had kicked her out and her dad had kicked her out, so she told me she was staying with her cousin. When I ordered her the wig off Amazon, she told me the address to send it to, and she said it was her cousin's house. But noted, prior to that, 2 months ago, she told me to order her some food to her cousin's house, but it was a completely different address. And I was thinking, wait, wasn't your cousin's house a different address? But then, again, I second guessed myself. I was like, maybe her cousin just moved. So she gets the wig. The day of the party, she sends me a picture with the wig and the outfit on. Then she says she needs an Uber to get to the party. So I get her the Uber. Later that night, she texts me and asks me, could I get her Uber back home in 5 minutes? So I said, yes. Let me know when you get home and call me. She says, okay. So while she's in the Uber, I'm scrolling on Instagram and I see that she posts on her story. I open the story. It's a video of her. I like the story. And then I see that a white boy had put a comment on it. And it was just some smirk face emojis. I didn't pay too much attention to it. I'm not an insecure nigga. I just let it slide. So she tells me she gets home, but she's drunk and she's spelling wrong. I was like, all right, call me. She said she's about to take a shower. I was like, all right, bet, just call me when you get up. About like a good 40 minutes go by and she still ain't calling me. So I decided to call her myself. And after the first 2 rings, she sends me to voicemail. So I'm like, so I start scrolling on Instagram again, and then I realize I can't see her Instagram page. So I go to her spam. I can't see that one either. I was like, okay, she just blocked me. So I go to the messages to try to text her. But then I see that it says my location has stopped sharing, meaning that she blocked me and made my location stop sharing. And I know in the beginning I said I don't chase, but at this point we got so deep into this relationship, I'm not about to let you play with me like this.
I'm pretty sure he knows this now, but that was not a relationship.
I'm spamming, calling, texting her TikTok, text now, like that star67. She's not picking. The next day, I'm trying to let it slide, but again, you're not about to play with me. So I start star67 back to back type. And she's still not answering. Her sister then texts me and asks, have you heard from old girl? I said, nah, she got me blocked on everything. I've been trying to contact her since the other day. This girl says her baby dad called CPS on her and got her baby taken away. And now he has custody until they go to court. And she ain't been wanting to talk to nobody. I don't know how CPS work, so I didn't know how true that was. So then I start feeling bad because I've been spamming her, texting her, calling her weird and like that back to back. My dumb ass gonna get her something to eat just so she can feel better and shit like that. I ain't even get a thank you. Fast forward 4 days later, she finally responds with a sob story saying my baby dad took my baby away from me, all this and that. And then me, I'm just sitting there trying to comfort her, letting her know everything gonna be okay. God got you and everything. The next day, she goes out with her cousin at night to go to get something to eat. And then she asked me if I could send her a few dollars to get something to eat. I'm like, all right, cool. Nigga! Let me know when you get back. Be safe. It gets to like 11 p.m. and she still ain't text me back. So I hit her up. I'm like, hey, how the restaurant going? She ain't respond. So I go to sleep and I wake up like 2 hours later. I look at my phone. I see I got a text from her. So I unlock my phone. I open up the text. This girl done sent me a picture with her cuddled up with some white boy in the car. And it was the same damn white boy that I seen in her comments on her cousin's birthday. I replied with type and then I left it alone. But something urged me to just pick the phone up, and I said the simplest shit that I could have said. I said you can make time for him though, and I wasn't trying to let it bother me. It wasn't bothering me what she did. I had a feeling the whole time. It was just the fact that I was spending money on this girl. I ain't gonna lie, I went on Instagram and I said something about it on my story. Then her sister gonna reply to my story talking about something relax. I said, don't check me, check your sister. She said, I ain't gotta check shit. You seen the signs and you seen the red flags and you let it happen. And I ain't gonna lie, I couldn't argue with that. But I said, I tried to leave that girl multiple times and she just came back with a different sob story each time. She then replied with, well, after each sob story, how long did it take for her to ask you for money? That shut me the fuck up. I said, you right. She said, I know I'm right. She just doing what she knows how to do, but she cares about you. I said, first of all, if she cared about me, she would have been real from the jump and told me what it was instead of sending me pictures. She said, well, it wasn't her who sent the pictures, but that's all I'm going to say. I'm like, oh, so it's the white boy who sent the pictures. She said, shh, I didn't say that. It was the white boy. See, I wasn't even going to say nothing to the white boy, but the white boy wanted to send the pictures and be funny, so I hit him up. I ain't going to lie. So I hit him up. I'm like, you good? He said, yeah, you good? I said, so you sent me those pictures trying to be funny? He said, yeah, because I told her multiple times to block you and she still texted you. So then I fell back a little bit. I'm like, all right, that makes sense because I would have did the same shit. So then I asked him, I said, how long y'all been talking? Because she had me thinking we was in a relationship for damn near 1.5 years now.
Why would you think you were in a relationship? You barely see her and she only asked you for money. I get that you were young, but we gotta be smarter than this.
He said, we've been talking for 5 months. So I'm showing this nigga pictures of me and her like going out on dates and just let him know that she was talking to me while she was talking to you, bro. And then he says, oh yeah, I know about that. And I know about that little date that y'all had around this time. I was like, wait, so you knew and you claim this your girl and she's living at your crib with you and your peoples and you let her go out on dates with me? You're a f***ing cuck. He started saying like, yeah, I knew about all that. And every time you would get her food and she would say it was for her baby, me and the baby would be sharing all that. I told her to block you, but she didn't listen. So I took it in my own hands. So you need to be thanking me. All right, now Zac Efron, now you playing with me. Then this nigga said the only time that I seen her was on Valentine's Day. I said, bro, if you really believe the only time I seen that girl was on Valentine's Day, you're crazy. Then this girl gonna get on the phone with voice message saying, you're a liar, you're just mad that I don't want you, I don't like you, I use you for your money. That's why you still ain't and shit like that. The only thing you could have ever brought to the table was ma'am. But that's the end of that story. I'm done talking about it.
Now, I want to share this story because I know a lot of us have been through stuff like this when we were younger. Now, I've never been through that. That was, to me, crazy. There's no way I would let a girl play me like that, ever. But there are a lot of young men who have been through that. And there are a lot of young men coming up now who will go through that. So this is why they need to see videos like this. Because when you're in that situation, you don't realize you're being played. You can't recognize all those flags and those signs that those girls were throwing up like this is a crip walking contest. You can't see it. But the fact is, she put everything on the table for you. I love the fact that that when the sister in the story told him it was his fault, he didn't argue with her. He took it on the chin because it was your fault. I don't blame that girl for none of this. Just like the sister didn't blame that girl. She said exactly what was happening. That's how she gets down. You fell for it. You could have just walked away and you wouldn't put yourself through any of that. That is 100% your fault. The reason why I can say that is because even when you were in the situation, you knew it wasn't right. I don't know how many times in that video you said you were gonna leave or you were gonna bail or it just wasn't working, but you stayed anyway. You kept giving her one more chance like Biggie. So to me, it sounds like you need to get dropped multiple times before you learn your lesson. There are some people out there like that. They don't learn on the first try. They need a couple tries. But the fact is you even knew that this wasn't good for you, but you kept going forward. Now I'm thinking that girl had to be fine for you to keep fighting for her the way you were fighting for her, because on top of her acting weird with you, she had a child too. So if it did work out, you'd had to walk into a role of a stepfather, but you didn't care about any of that because like Keith Sweat, you wanted her. I am not going to sit here and give you a pity party and blame that girl for any of this. She is just doing what some women do. There are some women out there who are savages, and it sounds like she's one of them. And I'm hoping now that you're older, you will never fall for a situation like that again, because the games don't stop. These women get smarter as they get older, and you have to understand female nature. There are some women out there who will find a man and they will love that man and do everything they can for that man, but there are a lot of these women out there, they don't care about none of that. It is all about them. Whatever feels good to them, that is what they're gonna do. It has nothing to do with you, nothing to do with your feelings. I'm pretty sure the other man that she started dating, he was doing something for her that you weren't doing. They don't think no farther than that. This guy is offering me this, the other man isn't. Now the fact that the other man knew about you says a lot about him because he's still over there with her, but there's something about him that she wants that you don't offer her. But to me, instead of being mad at that man, I would have went over there and shook that man's hand because he just saved you a lot of time by sending you that picture, because she was never going to do it, because she told you at the end how she really felt about you. She would have never said that to you unless she was put in that situation where she had to. So instead of fighting that man, you should thank that man, because that man saved you a lot of time and trouble and money, because you over there tricking off on this chick like it ain't no tomorrow. And I also just want to say this for the men out there dating. I know a lot of y'all know this, but I just want to say this for the people who don't know this. The man said earlier in the video when he first started talking to the girl again, she would disappear and then pop back up. Anytime that happens, you get rid of a chick. Now, if you're just trying to sleep with her, that's a totally different thing. But if you meet a girl and you want to take her seriously and she starts disappearing and popping back up like a game of whack-a-mole, at that moment right there, you do not take that woman seriously at all. He also said she kept hitting him with those sob stories and they will always pull him back in. Now, for us men who have been out there dating for a while, we already know those sob stories mean trouble. But for you young dudes, please understand, if a woman is hitting you with a bunch of sob stories, it doesn't matter what these sob stories are. If she is coming at you with a bunch of sob stories, that is not the girl you need to be dating at that moment. One sob story is okay, maybe two, but when you got a girl hitting you with a sob story every time you talk to her, you need to stop talking to her. That's what you need to do. He also said in the story that the mother and the father kicked her out, so she had to go stay with her cousin, which she was lying about. She was really staying with the other dude. But the point is, this woman has a child, she can't keep a job, she fights with her baby father, she always got sob stories or something going on, she always begging, and nobody wants to help her out. Ray Charles can see this woman was a bad investment. And on top of all that, I'm thinking he didn't even hit, because at the end of the video, he said the girl said he didn't get none. So if this man was dealing with this girl for all that time and he wasn't even getting that, that's insane. A lot of men make these mistakes because they were told all women are innocent, all women are flowers, and it's just not true. You were lied to, I was lied to, and now that you've been through this situation, you now see how some women really are. And personally, I think it was better that you learned your lesson while you were younger instead of going years of being that way and treating women that way who didn't deserve it, because then you would really be screwed up, and that ain't no good for anybody. But anyway, leave your thoughts in the video. Appreciate you watching. See you next time.